being said, I do want to record this. And the reason being is because we've got some special guests coming on, but I want to kind of just explain a couple things. Number one is, who are we? What do we do? What is, what kind of environment are we in? And when we say financial services, what does that really mean? Okay. And so when it comes to financial services, I don't know if you're taking notes, but I would highly recommend it. And the reason being is because sometimes when you write it down, you can remember it. And then also understand that I believe, actually, it's not so much what I believe. Harvard believes that when they did a study that you only get 2 shots in life that actually potentially could change the entire direction of your life. This opportunity will happen in your 20s, and then it will also happen in your 40s. So that's the study that they did, is that you get 2 shots in life that potentially an opportunity will come on your plate, maybe when you least expect it. You've been praying for it though. And the crazy thing is that, wow, this was it. And I'm so stinking grateful that 10 years ago, somebody saw something in me. Okay. And just like somebody saw something in you, that carries something that we call the it factor. Maybe it's a contagious personality. Maybe you're an introvert. Maybe you're that guy or that girl that, hey, look, just throw me in the game. But doesn't matter if you're an introvert, extrovert. This isn't a cookie cutter career. It's the craziest melting pot you'll ever experience, in my opinion. But the neat thing is that as long as you've got grit, you're coachable, and you have an incredible work ethic, then in my opinion, hey, look, maybe you're the person that, hey, maybe you could be an incredible business partner with us. Okay. So a couple things. Financial services. It's banking and insurance. Financial services is the backbone to the entire economy. So in other words, it's the primary driving force for the United States and pretty much for the entire world when it comes to the economy. So financial services, it is essential to society. And with that being said, in 2020, just like what Harrison was talking about, what happened to his family, everybody was impacted in 2008. Everybody, some way, some form, everybody was impacted in 2008. And history will always repeat itself. And then also, are we learning from it? Or are you still staying in a career that maybe was furloughed like it was in 2020? If you're in the hospitality environment, if you are in the restaurant industry, or maybe you just lost your job in 2020 because they had to shut their doors. I was actually reading a couple of studies that, 49 million Americans lost their jobs. 73% of small business owners had to close down their doors in 2020. Okay, because they were not essential to society. So when you're looking at the growth, when you're looking at the fact that 15.5 million Americans were laid off in 2022, maybe it was your dad, maybe it was your mom, maybe it was your sister, maybe it was you that was laid off in 2022. But I do know this, is that if 15.5 million people were laid off from their jobs, that tells me that they didn't have a choice, right? They couldn't just wake up and say, I'm going to work today. It's because somebody else put a stamp on your forehead and said, sorry, we're going to have to close our doors. And that means you make no money. I do not ever want to be in that situation. This is why you couldn't even offer me $32 billion to go be a W-2 employee. Why? Because then it could all be taken away from me. Okay. Give me the opportunity that I call the shots, right? That I could link up, be independent, but dependent on a system. And that's where we kind of step into the world of NASB and insurance. So North American Senior Benefits came to life in July of 2012. And the neat thing is, why life insurance? Harrison was talking about the fact that he's got this license, this Series 7, this one health. Hey, look, that is all fine and dandy. But if you look at the most wealthiest people in the entire United States to the world, such as like Warren Buffett, guess what all these billionaires have in common? They say this one thing: be a master of one. Be a master of one trade, not a jack of all trades. I had a couple of guys. I was working with one of my employees in my kitchen earlier, and her boyfriend came in, and a couple of, the 18, 19-year-olds that were coming in. And it was really neat because they have like 5,000 jobs. And I'm sitting here telling these folks, you have like 4 jobs. If you could master one, if you could put your whole everything, like the fullness of yourself, have you ever done that? Do it. And do that 9 to 5 or that 9 to 6, whatever it might be, or if it's a nighttime job, but put your all into one trade, right? And in my professional opinion, only from experience and only what I've been witness to, is life insurance is that career that really has been around since the 1700s. It is such a career that when we sit here and say that you can have financial freedom, flexibility over time, it's not overnight. Is this easy? No, not at all, actually. Okay. It's actually really hard. And if you're saying to yourself, well, I don't want hard, please get off this Zoom right now, because I can't take wimps. I can't take wussies when it comes to somebody that I'm going to partner with and put on the trenches of the world with. Why? Because it's going to take guts. It's going to take grit, and it's going to take everything that you've got inside of you, which is called potential. That's what you're going to have to give here, because you need to see what you're actually capable of. Maybe you've never actually physically done that. So when it comes to life insurance, that is essential to society, right? It provides a need in the darkest moment for a senior's life, for anybody's life. Okay. Everybody knows somebody that's passed away. And here's the crazy thing. I remember at East Carolina University, I went through 5 different majors because I was that kid that when I was 15, 16, 17, 18, I told my parents, I just want to make a lot of money. I want to travel the world, and I really want to make an impact in my community. And then my parents were like, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't know, but I want to own my own business. So I went to business school, and it was really difficult for me to listen to a professor in business teaching 250 students a day how to what? Become successful at being a multi-millionaire, but they're making 60 grand a year. You cannot teach what you have not done. I'll repeat that. You cannot teach what you have not done. But I do remember this. In business school, I remember the professor, and like I can't even pronounce his name, so I'm not even going to say it because he might still be there. But I remember butting heads with him. But I do agree with this one thing that he did say. You have to have a product, good, or service that everybody wants, needs, or desires. If you have that matched with a target market, you will be wildly successful, as long as the people will always be the forefront of your concern. Period. As long as you do right, I think it was Tamika that said it, as long as you do right to others, then right's always going to come back to you. We've always believed that. Okay. And so when it comes to life insurance, this field that's been around since the 1700s, this arena that's just had this beautiful little, fun little slope that no matter when the economy is down, life insurance doesn't tank. Matter of fact, when COVID hit in 2020, life insurance spiked because they realized we knew it was always a need, but with people passing away, man, we really need life insurance. 84% of the United States believes in life insurance. And here's the crazy thing that we've realized. In 2022, they said that they did a study, it was by LIMRA, and they said 54% of people that have life insurance have no clue what they have. None. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine being 80 years old and having a life insurance policy terminate on you when you need it the most? This is why we do what we do, is to help our seniors make a good buying decision. The life insurance arena in financial services is a $995 billion market, folks. Hello, do you want a piece of that? I do, okay? And I'm very grateful for that opportunity. So what about North American Senior Benefits? Like I said, it was established 10 years ago, back in July of 2012. And what we specialize in is simplified final expense. Can we do mortgage protection? Can we assist like Tamika's son when he wanted to buy a house and he can get, a $2 million mortgage protection policy and term insurance? Yeah, we can do all that. We have actually up to 126 life insurance providers that we have in our arsenal. Holy cow, that's amazing. Okay, through NASB and through Elevation Advanced Markets. So we really have the best of the best when it comes to the top rated carriers in the nation. And there's only about 800 plus life insurance providers. You can't get all of them, but you do want the best. And we have the best. And so you got to have a competitive platform. And again, this is why so many folks, you could look at it all over Indeed. You can look over at Glassdoor. They rave about us so much so. And again, we sell the reality. We don't sell the dream, folks. We sell the reality, period. Okay. I don't have to sugarcoat this thing. I can sit here and tell you exactly what it is. I don't like to sit here and just say, okay, it's going to be easy for you guys. No, it's going to be hard. It's going to be the hardest thing that you've ever done in your life, because you're going to realize things about yourself. If you are the person that we are selecting, gear up, because it's going to be the biggest adventure of your life. Literally, when I say that. So again, that simplified final expense means, listen, we work with the masses. We're not working with this select few of seniors that are thinking about death, which is everybody, by the way, but we're not working with the seniors that are just wanting this, millions of dollars to leave behind. We're working with the masses. 95% of the seniors, okay, we're working with those folks that just need a burial. They need a final expense plan. And that's who we service. So much so that literally, when you're looking at it, 56 million Americans are over the age of 65. Hello. It's the biggest, hugest market right now that has the greatest market share when it comes to wealth. And they're going to pass it on to the next generation. So over the next 15 to 14 years, we're riding what's called a silver tsunami wave, which means that that money is going to be passed down to the next generation. And these baby boomers, okay, they need to make sure that their final expenses and their life insurance portfolio are taken care of. So what do we need? You got to have a life insurance license. How do you get it? Well, if you are selected, we'll tell you what to do next. So NESB has really 4 pillars, and I want to introduce you folks, 2 folks that have really been a huge influence to this company. But the 4 pillars are this, okay, is number 1, what makes NESB unique, not only for the fact that 36% higher income average than any other brokerage out there, okay, our income average, 1 out of 2 make over $75,000. You write one policy. We did a study in 2022, me and Lance, the CEO of NESB. When we did this study in 2022 for NESB, 1 out of 2 people were making over $75,000 of income. Holy cracker jacks. That's if you just wrote one policy in 2022. That's how good we are. That's how good the systems are, the products, but it doesn't even come close to the people and the leadership that we've got here inside your hearts. Make sense? So we are vested day 1, which means this, that these are your seniors. They're not NESBs. So you're vested day 1, which means that, hey, that's your book of business. But here's the cool thing is that when it comes to the fact of you getting, maybe whenever you start off, maybe it's 70% commission. But the neat thing is that that first year, after that first year, you get, holy cow, you get renewals. So really, truly, when we say compounding commissions, you do the work once, you get paid forever. Look, someone's got to get paid this stuff. And these life insurance providers, you know, if it's a $995 billion driving force currently, they're willing to pay folks to be their arms, and we're their arm. So they're willing to pay it. Thank you very much. We appreciate it, but they're going to keep paying you. So I'm still getting paid on things I did back in 2013, 2014, 2015. And yes, we do want folks that have that leadership mentality inside of them, that once they become a well-rounded agent with us, hey, listen, we might ask you, hey, do you want to get in management? Because guys, the advancement here is unlike anything I've ever even, I couldn't even dream of the lifestyle, what a partner was like. I kid you not, like it's unbelievable. And I hope that you can see it, experience it. It is something that I would have taken a lifetime to experience if I could just get it, even if I was 80 years old. Okay. So we're vested day 1. Number 2 is we have an in-house lead system. We have a 43,000 square foot building in Atlanta, Georgia, or Lawrenceville, Georgia. That's where our headquarters are. And you want to talk about, we mailed out 32 million leads last year in 2022. So that's 32 million people that received a direct mailed letter from us. It wasn't a bait and switch. They all say life insurance on them. They all say final expense. They handwrite them back. We get those back at corporate. And oh my goodness gracious, how awesome is that to be able to have a senior that requests for you to come and see them versus you physically having to throw out on social media, come buy life insurance from me, or also maybe throwing out your business card at Walmart. Guys, that's just weird. I didn't want to hassle my friends and my family. So it's kind of nice that you've got a plethora of leads of people to see every single day in this nation. And we are in 43 states currently right now. So advancement, I already talked about that. Advancement for a real opportunity. You couldn't even dream of what partners like. We're also tagged up with a company called Integrity Marketing Group. Feel free to do the research if you're taking notes. Integrity Marketing Group is who acquired us back in 2019. The neat thing with them is that, here's the crazy part. It's a $44 billion privately held stock company. So that's a lot of money. So much so that they are the biggest, not the baddest, like, because I don't like saying that word. They are the most healthiest company in Dallas, like in all of the state of Texas. They trump the Dallas Cowboys. I know John Cisco loves Dallas Cowboys, right? But they are the biggest company in the entire state of Texas right now. That's who we are with. That is who brands us. And I'm so grateful to be a part of that company and everything that they stand for and their mission. They are phenomenal. And lastly is this, we're a legitimate brokerage. Just like I want to say it was Tamika that was talking about the fact of, I don't want to just have one thing on the menu. I want choices. I want a legitimate brokerage that has not only my needs in their forefront, but also the client's needs. That if there's a little baby that's 2 weeks old that needs life insurance coverage, that I can have the peace of mind and security that I'm providing the absolute best coverage for who? My clients. That is such a phenomenal feeling to be able to lay your head down at night and say, I really did impact lives today. That is, you have no idea how many hugs you're going to get every single week with what we do, especially in this career. And I want to go first to John Cisco. Now, John Cisco has 3 beautiful girls, a lovely wife, and Laura Cisco, who's also a partner. But John Cisco, the awesome thing with him is that he's a regional sales manager with NASB. He's got 3 beautiful girls, Johnny, Scarlett, and Georgia. And he's been a major influencer here, also a very big educator. He's actually created a bunch of our systems when it comes to some of our scripts. And the dude is just a working horse. So, John, do I have you, sir?
Good evening, Ashley. You have me.
All right, all right, all right. So tell us a little bit about your previous career with, before NASB, but then also what is life like now for you and your wonderful family of 5?
Yeah, so I was originally in a little bit of, I was an underwriter for an auto finance company for about 4 years. So I sat behind a desk and, I couldn't stand, sitting behind a computer, sitting behind a desk. So I transitioned to an estimator for a home building company. And again, I was still sitting behind a desk. I was plugging numbers. I was always at someone's beck and call. It was funny because it kind of really sank in when it was a Friday or something, and they said, we haven't seen you at the job site on a Saturday. And I said, yeah, because I'm getting paid $50,000 an hour, a year. Why would I come on a Saturday? I'm going to enjoy my weekends. And that's when it kind of really, kind of hit me. Like, I like the saying, make what you're worth, right? If you're being pulled in 10 different directions, and you're not getting the recognition or the pay that you deserve, that's kind of what really hit my, brain when I was starting, NASB. And, life right now, it's great. When I was working at those jobs, it was just me before I got married, but, it's still a struggle, having to work all the time, and you could never really have anything super nice. You couldn't have, like you were talking about, the nice car, the nice house, go out to eat. I was always counting my pennies. And when I mean counting my pennies, I was counting them. I was dating Laura, and it was funny because it was like, we're going to only go on a date like twice a month. Like, that's what we're going to do. I will cook for you. So that's really what it was. And now it's just completely different. Like you said, money is a big motivator when you start, but then time takes over. Having the kids, I want to be able to be at things, spend time with my family, enjoy it. So there is a lot, but when you first get started, yeah, money is great. Going from making, 50 grand a year to 100 grand, just, in your first year, you're really going to see like, oh, I can do a little bit more. I can save a little bit more. I feel more comfortable in what I'm doing in life. I can go on more than 2 dates a month. So yeah, that's really what kind of got me going there, Ashley.
Amen. I love it. And I think y'all go on a date like every week. It's so adorable, you two. And I love what you said about how it just transitions from money, that when you get it, it then starts to transition into time, that you start to realize like, man, anyone else feel like, I just turned 40 last, I think it was like a couple weeks ago. And I'm like, why is time so fast right now? I look at my kids, and Christian is 12, Chloe is 9. And I'm like, why are they growing up so quick? And you just want to be able to be still in the moment with them. But if you're in a career that you're overworked, underpaid, underappreciated, and maybe you're making 30, 40, 50, $75,000 a year, but if you don't have the platform that can allow you to celebrate those things and those milestones in your life, what's the point of it all, right? If you really think about it. So let me ask you this. What would you say to these folks on here now, as far as what's the biggest word of encouragement that you could give that maybe you could tell yourself when you were selected many years back?
The biggest word of encouragement, I would say, give grace to yourself. I had to give grace to myself. I had to learn a completely new skill. Like, I didn't come from sales. Sitting behind a desk, I wasn't talking to a lot of people. So when I first started, it was a little rough. I had to give myself grace and myself time. But I realized when I put the time and effort on myself, that's where I saw the return. So I would tell anybody, give yourself grace. You're going to find the return in yourself. Nobody is going to pay you better than you putting in the work yourself. And again, it goes back to make what you're worth. And I know with, our team, there's just so much fun and events, and, it's more that, making money is great. We all want to make money. We all want to live comfortably, but you want to have, the friendships, the dinners, the trips that we get to go on. It's a lot of fun. And, I get to hang out with people that I probably would have never met because of NASB. So I think that's awesome. And, I heard something the other day when I was driving. I like to listen to a lot of things. Is, I just came back from my grandfather's funeral yesterday, and, time is so short. And it really kind of sank in when I was just, looking at him. It's so short. And at the end of the day, we gather all this stuff, and, like I said, money's great, but it's like a poker game, right? So you gather all these chips and these things, but when you pass away, it all goes back in the middle of the pot, right? So again, if you're looking for money, you can make that. But if you're looking for time and freedom, that's my main thing that motivated me. And I can do other things. I can, so when you really look at it in the scheme of things, find something that you can build on and bet on yourself, and find something that, at the end of the day, getting nice things, it's fun. We all want to have it. But when we pass away, it all goes back in the pot. Someone else is going to live in the house that I live in. Someone else is going to, take the same vacation or whatever I have. They might get in a garage sale, I don't know. But I'm just saying, time is what is most valuable for a lot of us. And I know that's what, a lot of people are looking for. They're working so hard. So.
Amen. Amen. And, it almost reminds me of, what's the forecast of your life, right? Like, when you look at now and then also for the future. Sorry, my dogs are going off. Dustin is right in front of me. He's so funny. He's trying on clothes for the cruise that we're going on over the next 9 days. Oh, he's such a goose. Anyway, he's distracting me right now, Dustin. But anyway, so it's a matter of, what's the forecast of your working life? I mean, think about it. Like, if you keep doing what you're doing right now, is it going to yield you the results that you want down the road? And if not, why are you wasting your time? Right? And because all of us have a time clock, all of us do. And what is the appraisal of your time currently right now? And I want to go next to Miss Michelle Johnson. I call her MJ. And I remember interviewing you. I want to say it was in the lobby of a Marriott hotel back in February, I believe it was, in 2020. But Michelle Johnson, do I have you? She is a senior broker with NASB. And, it's been quite a pleasure getting to know you. You are just, I mean, if there was one word that I could sum up of you, it'd be grit. You are just full of grit and hunger and fire. So, Miss Michelle, do I have you?
Ashley, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. And I know that you've got 3 kids. You've got a beautiful granddaughter. You've just been able to have an incredible life here with NASB. But then also, before NASB, you were an interior painter. Do you remember back then you were making, I think it was $3,000 a month? And to know where you are now, the money that you're making now, isn't that so crazy that you almost thought for a moment, like, okay, is there really an opportunity here? Like, can I really make over 10K a month? And now you're making that, and it's very consistent, which is awesome. So tell us a little bit about yourself and previous career, but then also, since 2020, what's life been like for NASB?
Yeah, thank you, Ashley. Yeah, so I was an interior painter before this, and I was making really, in my eyes, as a painter as well, I was making pretty good money for what I did. The problem is that that's as much money as I could make, unless I wanted to invest another 25 years of my life, to potentially, and even then it wouldn't be that much more in comparison. The other thing too was it's very physically demanding, and my boss, who was a friend as well, who owned the company, she's about 15 years older than me, so she is 60 now, I think. She's been doing this for over 30 years, and to see her just riddled with pain consistently all the time, I was like, no, thank you. You know, I'm active, I have kids, I have grandchildren, you know, like I need to keep up with them, and I can't be having pain hinder me. I also knew that there was something more out there. I knew that time and money was possible. It was just finding the right platform to achieve that. So, you know, when I found NASB, it was like, yes, this is what I've been looking for, you know, because it also creates that residual income that then can be willed down to the family, to the kids and the grandchildren. You know, I'm creating a legacy. But, you know, you're right. Like life now is it's much different. And to have the flexibility, my biggest thing is time. Like, no, I like money. I like making a lot of money, but I like having my time too. Like I was not able to, you know, my kids were little, because they're all grown now. Like when they were 8, 9, 10 years old, and sometimes they'd be sick and they'd have to stay home from school. I couldn't stay home with them to take care of them. Now, obviously they weren't direly ill, but still, as a mother, you wanted to be able to take care of your children. And a lot of times I just did not have that capability, because I couldn't afford to take a day off, or I didn't have the time to take off. And so there was this huge mom guilt that followed me through my life of, I was like, this is not going to be for my grandchildren. You know, I'm going to be able to be there. I'm going to be able to pay for them to have good educations, be in good daycares. You know, I'm going to be able to do all of this. So now, you know, if my granddaughter gets suspended from school at 4, I can say, cool. You know, I either bring her with me, or I just take the day off, you know, and I don't have to feel guilty about it. I also don't have to ask permission. Now, you know, I do, like, out of respect, you know, like say, hey, you know, I'm not going to be in the field today, but, you know, I don't have to, you know, ask someone's permission to live my life.
Amen. Amen. So let me ask you this. And I know I didn't ask John this, but I think I know what his top income month is. I think his top income month, John, you could probably correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was like 25,000. And you know, consistently, I can't even remember last time you made less than 10K in a month. MJ, you're the exact same. Okay. You've been here for a couple years now. And, you know, MJ, like a bad month for you is when you do make less than $10,000 in a month. So, you know, what is your biggest word of encouragement to these folks here?
My biggest word of encouragement is something that I did not do in the very beginning, because I've always done, like in my high school years and younger years, like I was always the best at everything I did. Yeah. And a lot of times, you know, if I wasn't, I didn't do it. So, you know, I kind of came in thinking, I got this, you know, and so I winged it on my, like, I didn't follow the steps exactly like I should have. I figured I could just, you know, if I could have just followed the system from the start, you know, and done exactly the way it's laid out for us. That's what's amazing, is it's all laid out for us. And if we follow, we got the steps, we got the difference. Everything is there. If you just follow it, you know, you will be a success. Like you can't help but not succeed. And so I hindered my, you know, progress in the beginning by just thinking I could wing it off of just the capability to interact or talk or flow or whatever my thought process was, you know. But that would be, is follow the system, listen to your coaches, you know, because they know what they're talking about.
Amen. I couldn't agree more with you. And I'm really glad that you said that. And the reason being is because I was just like you. Okay. 2015, coming off of Chloe being born, I took 10 months off from NASB. And oh my gosh, 2015 is when I went all in, and I made 50 grand because I winged it. I thought, oh, I got this. You know, I don't need to follow the system. I don't need to do this door approach. I don't need to know the 10 sets of presentation. And then I realized, I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? And the moment, Michelle, that I actually followed the system and did it without, I guess you could say, the charm and the charisma, I just followed the system, right? Where anybody could relate to it, whether you're an introvert, extrovert, whether you had a background in technology or had a background in hospitality, didn't matter what your career was. That if you looked at the presentation, you could say, I could do that. That's simple. Not easy, but it's simple. That next year in 2016, 126,000, 2017, what was it? 206,000, 2018, it was 313,000, 2019, 689,000 in deposits, 2020, when 49 million Americans lost their jobs. That's the year I broke over 1,050,000 in deposits. And then 2021 was 1,250,000. And then 2022 was 1,287,000 deposits. Guys, my husband's been a stay-at-home dad since 2015. That is all by choice for me and him. Probably I was like, hey, you should probably, he got laid off from his job at Sprint, and he was offered an 80,000 a year job back in 2015 in September. And I said, there's something greater here. And I was only making $5,000 a month back then in September 2015, because I wasn't going all in. I told you guys, I winged it. And I am so glad we chose for him to stay home with the kids so that he could let me go and really see what it was that God had ordained already and really had in store for me. So just like for all of you guys, I believe that all this does not just happen for chance, right? I don't believe that anything really happens by chance. I think that everything happens for a reason. The people in your life, the people that come out of your life, right? The people that are here with you, that's really serving you a purpose. And it's a greater purpose. I really believe that. And I would say this, what's the next step? The next step is the person that interviewed you, whether you're in the interviewing process and we're looking at you and you're looking at us to see if we'd be a perfect fit for each other. Hey, look, go ahead and text the person that interviewed you and say, do you believe I have what it takes? Do you believe I have what it takes? And hey, look, we don't sugarcoat this thing because we know exactly what it takes to be stupid, wildly successful here. Okay. We don't sugarcoat that because we can't. Just like what John and MJ said, our time is way too valuable to show you something that was just a joke, right? I don't have time for that. Okay. And so with that being said, the next step is first text the person that actually has already started interviewing you. Next is, hey, if you want to see what a normal day is like, hop in the car with us. Do a shadow day. See the seniors that we get to work with. See the impact. See the grumpy seniors that sometimes we have to see, right? As if we didn't see grumpy people in Walmart or at Target or at the drive-thru at McDonald's. There's going to be grumpy things. There's always going to be something you don't like about a career. I would encourage you to do this. This is what I did. I chose my career not on what I liked about the career and the day-to-day. I chose this career because of the results that it would bring me and my family and the community and the agents that I would potentially partner with. That is why I chose NASB, period. And this is why I owe my life to NASB, because they've given me my life, right? And I would say this, that the next thing is a shadow day. You want to make sure that if you are selected with us, if there's anything preventing you from physically passing the state exam, the pre-licensing for you to get your license, make sure that you pass that rascal within 14 business days. If it's going to take you 3 months, I'm just going to be very real with you. This isn't the right time. Okay. If you love your job, stay at your job. We want somebody that can go all in with us. This is a full-time career. All right. Minimum person right now, take home that's on this team is making $8,700 take home per month. That is the average. We don't play around when it comes to numbers. We don't play around when it comes to predictability, especially in those numbers. So lastly, I would say this, maybe you're that person right now that you're being held back by the consequences of what you believe. What does that mean? That means that maybe you're the person that doubts. Maybe you're the person that's always doubted, that when an opportunity comes your way, you're saying, nah, I don't think I can do this. You're right. You're right. Because your brain will always want to prove you right with whatever you're telling it. Maybe you need to change the script. Maybe you need to start upgrading the way you think. Okay. The world did not shape you who you are. The only person that gets the right to shape who you are is the person that made you. Okay. And lastly, I would just say this is everybody has a desire to have the American dream. Everybody does. Everybody wants the financial security. But why is it that only 5% of the United States is making over a strong six-figure income? Why is that? And those are the business owners. Those are the small business owners, big business owners, 1099s. You look at Elon Musk, you look at Jeff Bezos, all the successful people you've ever probably met in your life, they probably own a business because they see the value in it. And I would say this, your desires will only take you where your habits can keep you. I'm hiring you based on your habits, your character. Who are you behind closed doors? Are you the person that, really has integrity, that has guts, that has grit? Are you going to be able to do what's right for our seniors and our clients? That's the person that we want to partner with. Okay. Because we cannot accept anything less than standards of excellence. We're not looking for the best. That's not what we're looking for here on this team with the Dream Makers and the Powerhouse. We are looking for the person that wants to become the best. We're looking for progress. Wherever that progress starts, that's what we're looking at. Folks, guys, it's been a phenomenal evening. Hopefully everybody got something out of this evening. I look forward to hearing from those that I was not able to get to tonight. Thank you so much for your time. Y'all have an incredible evening. Take care.